now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Yo, 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 what is up, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio, and I am your host, Dini. We have a very special guest for you guys, so you definitely want to stick around for that. And as a matter of fact, text your buddies, family members, even share it on social media right now, and let them know that we are about to dive deep into another interview. Before I bring my guest on, I do want to say that it adds up. A small effort over time can make a big difference. Anyone can make a slight improvement, and soon those slight improvements can add up to an enormous advantage. How can you live today just a little bit better than yesterday? There are thousands of great possibilities, and too often we strive for sudden, dramatic changes, and almost as often are disappointed when they are beyond our reach. Yet the little improvements, the ones no one notices, are the most reliable and consistent way to move ahead. Sure, it takes discipline, but so what? Discipline is nothing more than a desire that has become smart and has learned what works. Reach for the big dreams, to be sure, and do it by taking small steps forward at every opportunity. Today is one of those opportunities to take a small yet significant step. So take it now while you can, and tomorrow you'll indeed be thankful you did. My name is Coach Dini, and change is possible. Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, let's go.
All right. Again, welcome back to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio, and I am your host, Dini. Our interviews are designed to go beyond music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, spirituality, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these incredible human beings. You know, the ones that are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is a true Renaissance figure, artist, innovator, engineer, and visionary. Representing Chicago's vibrant music scene, Fendi Frost grew up with music in his blood and ambition in his heart. From mixing hits for iconic drill artists to creating powerful, spiritually charged music like his latest album, Nutrition. Fendi is proof that authenticity, mindfulness, and hustle can coexist. So join me as we explore the layers of his artistry and the movement he's inspiring. Please join me in saying welcome, friend, to Fendi Frost. Yo, 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 welcome to the show.
What's going on? Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir, man. How's it going, man? How you doing?
I'm all good. Can't complain.
All right. Again, man, welcome to the show, man. Fendi, with everything that you are building right now, what's been sitting, on your heart and mind lately as you're firing up your spirits?
Oh man, I just really, I just want to tap into being as creative as possible, and just pushing the limits and pushing genres, and just really getting a message out there. I feel like, hip hop has become, it's always had, diversity, but I just feel like it's just leaning into more of a direction that I personally don't like. So I wanted to, kind of be the example and step out and show people that, everybody doesn't have to sound the same and, talk about the same thing. Let's push the limits and see where it goes. And I feel like the genre has become a little stagnant. So, this is just my personal opinion. So that's just, I just been in just trying to be as creative as possible and really touch people.
Indeed, man. I could definitely agree there, man. There's just certain aspects of what we're getting from music as hip-hop as a whole right now that's just been like, I don't know, man. I've kind of backed out of hip-hop, man. People like, hey, man, you heard it? No, I really haven't, bro. I've been on like some higher music, and for some reason, our music, black music, I don't know if you've seen the movie Sinners yet, but have you seen it? I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't.
No, not yet.
Okay, but there is a scene, I won't spoil it, there's a scene in there that has something to do with like the history of how black music started, and it's incredible. And for some reason along the way, I feel like we've lost that core feeling, the close-knit knot that keeps us all together as black people, as a culture, So what is it about the music today that you don't like?
Really the messaging. I mean, the thing about it is, I get why some artists gravitate towards that, and I feel like, our story should be told. I feel like our story should be told, but the creative aspect of it is really, is what bothers me, because sure, we can talk about what's going on in the community, but it's like, even when I was, coming up listening to Hov, he would say things and it wasn't super dumbed down. It was actually intelligent. He had meanings behind things. You listen to his albums, and then, the end message was, Hov did that so you won't have to go through that. Even when you listen to, T.I., the original trap music, you had those records, but you also had, I'm just doing my job, where, he break it down to where, this is what I was going through, and it was, the creativity was there. It wasn't so dumbed down to where, it wasn't glorifying. It was basically speaking, this is what's happening in the neighborhood, this is what's happening in the community, and we can do better. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that we can do better aspect, and just even sonically, it's like, you got the same 808s, you got the same, loops. It's really like, I don't know. I mean, there's no growth that's happening in the music.
Yeah. Man, I know that you know real music. Your father was a saxophonist. He played music from an instrument, but that sound came from his body. He interpreted music through his body, through an instrument. You interpret music same way, through your body, but with your vocal power, your tongue, your mouth. Real music. You mentioned Jay-Z. Jay-Z's like one of a kind, dope dealing artist that you didn't really know he was dealing dope unless you listen to the lyrics. So he made it so classy that you thought he was just talking business, right? So, man, I know you know real music, man. Do you think we could get to some sort of like uplifting content?
I do. I do. I believe we could get to that. I think, there's cycles with music, and it just takes for, honestly, I believe like the big artists, the mega artists, I think that's kind of coming to an end. I think that's coming to an end, and I think with artists like, especially after, last year with Kendrick and doing what he did, with the whole beef and then unifying LA and, in ways, I think the messaging, people are here for the messaging now. And it's that cycle of actually, having high expectations for artists. I think it's going to come back.
Indeed, man. Your album is called Nutrition. When I see something like that, I'm like, oh yeah, man, this is some substance here. From the outside looking in, from the outside looking in, is that correct?
No, definitely, yeah. Nutrition is it's a journey, and it's a lot of messaging behind, each song. I was real intentional about pretty much everything. I produced everything, I mixed and mastered everything. The concepts, everything is layered. There's so many layers in it. I wanted people to listen to it and then, go back every time they listen, be able to pull something else from it.
Yeah. So what are you saying on this record?
On the album, you got records like Half Full, where I break down our perception. I really go deep into having a positive perception, and then you got records like Meditate, which is self-explanatory. You got records like Choose My Enemies Wisely, and that record, it's actually it's a cryptic message. Like the first verse it dives into it's really a story about the first verse is really in the perspective of FBG Duck, artist from Chicago who was killed. Who I worked with him. I known him since he was young. And then the second verse is in the perspective of Lil Durk, which they were rivals. People probably remember the big the shooting that happened downtown Chicago, where they eventually, it was they had the footage of the people coming from O Block, getting in the cars, going downtown, and then murdering them downtown on camera, and in a nice neighborhood. That was FBG Duck. So that first verse is in his perspective before he got killed, and then the second verse is in the perspective of Lil Durk, and he calls himself the Voice, and I just go through different voice, just like I'm speaking in. I really don't want to give too much away. I want people to pull something from it, but it's really it dives deep, and then I just bring it all together at the end, where basically we choosing the wrong enemy. We shouldn't be at war with each other. And I got my record 7 levels of completion. I go through, basically, I go through 7 levels of completion, and each not really verses, because they're segments of the song. The song is really, I rap really all the way through 7 minutes exactly, and it's I got 80 hertz. 80 hertz was at when you first listen to it, it just sound like a nice little club record, but that 80 hertz, I put that 80 hertz tone, it's layered in there, and it's that's your root chakra, your animalistic behavior, your lower self, and then it blends, that 80 hertz blends into the last song, which is 963 hertz, which is, it's like I'm elevating to perfection almost. where I'm putting myself where I see God, and that's the album. It's it's a lot of messaging within each song, and I was super intentional.
Man, you're taking some journeys, my brother. You're the sound doctor, man. Your father was a saxophonist, as we mentioned earlier. So I really feel like you understand sound. You know how to, like you said, be intentional with it, even how to manipulate it. I mean, dude, we got a song that we're going to play tonight called 963 Hertz. So you're already on the level. How did that early exposure with your father, playing music, shape your relationship with music?
I mean, it was everything. I mean, you hearing every day, literally every day, my father played his horn. To this day, he still plays his horn. And he's 70, and he still plays every day. And just hearing that, being introduced to Coltrane, Miles Davis, Thelonious Monk, just so many. And actually, before I actually created this album, I went back and I was listening to, a lot of Miles Davis, and I was just getting in that mode, and it inspired me to really tap into the music, like the music, not just the drums and the 808s, and that's cool, but the actual music that does something. Jazz music, it actually is healing. They done studies on this where it actually heals or repairs DNA, and it's we feel a certain way when we hear it, but a lot of times unless you're a scientist, you don't know what's going on, but you feel in a good mood when you hear jazz music. So this whole album pretty much was jazz inspired. I put a lot of saxophone, a lot of trumpets, a lot of those patterns, unorthodox, where it's not just 3 or 2 verses and a hook, and it's all over the place. That's what jazz is. It's random, and it's the feeling, so.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we're about to jump into 963 Hertz or 963 Hertz by Fendi Frost. We'll be right back with more Fendi Frost. Stay tuned. Here we go.
963 Hertz, the frequency of the gods. When I rap, I leave Earth. When I speak, I leave Earth. Every verse I become number one, I'm the universe. When I become one with you is when I let my spirit flourish. My Scorpio with your Taurus, it balances my performance. Never run out of love for you, I got more endurance. 963, counting the reasons I love you. This energy's so perfect, I just want to resonate in it. 963, counting the reasons I love you. As we watch the world explode, I barely even notice. Feel everything, my heart chakra opens in slow motion. This love aligned right in time for the summer solstice. Beginners open, God energy between us flowing. Love deep, I stuck my toe and dived in it. I'm immersed in your spirit, submerged in these frequencies. I let them cleanse my sins. Third eye, you like a lens. I died and came alive in your vibrations. What a win. What a win. 63, counting the reasons I love you. 963, counting the reasons I love you.
welcome back, welcome back. Glorious, glorious. What an awesome song. 963 Hearse. All right, man, and that'll put you on the level. You got to really listen. This is a song that you have to repeat. This is just not one of those, hit it and quit it. Or, yeah, I heard the song and, that's it. No, this is something you got to add to one of those playlists that's always on repeat, because you need this type of music in your life. Some elevation, some reflective music. Close your eyes and, go somewhere. You know what I mean by that. Wherever your mind takes you when you, venture off, reaching for those higher dreams, those higher plateaus, that feel-good spot that you see yourself chilling in or becoming. This is that type of music. So go ahead. That's the call to action. 963 Hearse by Fendi Frost. Add that to your playlist. I hope you guys shazammed it if you're listening live and have the speakers on. But anyway, let's go ahead and bring Fendi Frost back. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Yeah, appreciate you playing that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, you have a streetwear brand called Modest Streetwear, which adds another layer to your brand. How do you view fashion and music fitting each other?
I feel like fashion and music are married. They're joined at the hip. It's one is vocal expression, one is it's visual. So they're really one and the same to me.
Yes, sir. So, man, I know that you're out and about, promoting this record, hugging necks, shaking hands, kissing babies, that sort of thing. But what's next for you, man, for the rest of this year? The summer's coming up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. I have so much music. I have so much music sitting. I'm probably gonna release another project in July, either July or August, and this one is it's going to be more of a house theme, Chicago house theme. I've been sitting on it for a while, and I feel like it's time. I feel like it's time to release it, and it coincides with my fashion brand as well.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Is it related to nutrition?
It's not related to nutrition. It's more it's definitely got a meaning to it. But on the first listen, it sounds just like a regular house album. But throughout the project, there's little skits, real quick skits that lead you up to the end of the song, where it basically talks about how materialism isn't everything, and it's another journey. It's not related, but it is a journey.
Yes, sir. And where can our listeners connect with you on the internet and check out more music?
Yeah, Fendi Frost, Fendi_Frost on IG, and also on X. That's pretty much where I'm mostly at, on IG and X.
All right. And listeners, just in case you need the links, I will have them all in the description of this episode and in the show notes, including Spotify, so you can grab some music too. Oh man, what an inspiring!
Let me plug the brand too.
All right.
My fashion brand, if you can find that at BeMoreModest.com. BeMoreModest.com.
I like that. All right, guys. This wasn't a conversation with Fendi Frost. If you want to check out more, there is a soulful spiritual blueprint behind the album Nutrition, so make sure you guys scream that. Follow his musical roots by tuning into his social media. We'll have those links available in the description of this episode and in the show notes. And he balanced innovation in his music, in his engineering, and in his fashion with a deeper message. There's also an importance of mindfulness, growth, and giving back. So do yourself a favor, scream Nutrition now, follow him on all social media, and let us know what you think. All right, man, I appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful night.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. All right, guys, stay mindful, stay hungry, and remember, you are the blueprint.
Peace to all.
963 hertz.
My name is Dean, and I am the host of Vigilantes Radio Live. I think that we are beyond just asking cool questions and getting cool responses. I think that we are here as creatives to provide an example that you can do things different outside of expectations, because some of us simply were not born into the club, but there is perhaps a door, window, or back gate that we can leave a clue for you to get into. Life is short, but there are plenty of moments to try and get it right. Pursuing your dreams and learning from mistakes may be tough, but regret is tough. To book your interview, email us at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That's a V as in victorious. Or visit onlyonemediagroup.com. I'm counting on you. Heaven, we all are counting on you to step into your purpose and your passion. You are listening to Vigilantes Radio Live on iHeartRadio, providing you with an opportunity to dive deeper.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.